What's up, my beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your very first time to see me, guys, or to stop by, please consider hitting the subscribe button and remember to turn on the notification bell so that you're the very first person to get notified each and every time any new upload is coming up. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I always appreciate and love you, and I don't take you for granted. Thank you so much for your great support. So guys, in today's video we're gonna be saying this video whereby women and men discussing, do you think that men are advised to marry many wives? Is it advisable for men to marry many wives or many women? We actually know that in Islam, in the Islam religion, the men there are actually allowed to marry many wives. They can marry up to 4 wives as long as they are able to take good care of those women. They are always taught that in Islam you are supposed to marry many wives, of which most of these wives could be helpers to this other woman. For example, if there's one wife or two wives in that homestead, the man is gonna bring another woman to be a helper to these other women. And this is the reason you find that in Islam they're actually given the right. It's their right, it's their obligation to get married to many wives. They're allowed to marry many wives. But even in African countries, you also find in a lot of African cultures, men are actually allowed to marry many women or to marry many wives. It's actually upon someone's decision whether to get married to one wife or to get married to many wives. So let's go straight into this video and try to compile different opinions from different people regarding this issue. And I'm going to be catching you up at the end of it with my opinions in the comments section.
You cannot eat it alone. You can't eat it alone. So please, build your home. Be in your home. If your husband wants to marry another wife, it is his own business. It is his headache. Hence, he's taking care of you and your children. An African man is entitled to marry many wives.
Now, let's face fact. It's not normal for any woman to come out and say she's comfortable with the idea of her husband marrying a second wife or even more wives. It's not normal. Something is wrong somewhere, because I believe that a woman who loves her husband with all her heart will not welcome the idea of her husband marrying a second wife. She won't. So if any woman comes out like this to tell you that her husband can marry a second or third wife, something made her, say something like that. And one of the reasons, or some of the reasons, that can make a woman agree or get comfortable with the idea is if the woman is not the first wife of her husband. Most women who are not first wives of their husbands can say things like this because they are trying to justify the process at which or by which they came into such marriages. So they are comfortable with the idea or try to make it look as if it's a norm. Because I believe every first wife who is happily married to her husband will not welcome the idea. A second reason that can make a woman say something like this is a woman that has not been faithful to her husband. Maybe she has some skeletons in her cupboard which she does not want her husband to find or get to know about. So she...
You can just hear from this lady here telling us, first of all, there was an argument. This woman telling us, she was actually yelling and telling us that men are supposed to marry many wives. They are actually allowed to marry as many wives as they want. But this other lady here is trying to correct her and telling her that no, any rightful woman who really loves her husband, who really loves her man, she cannot just stand there and watch out or actually speak these words to her husband and allow her husband to get another woman if she really loves the man. And another thing that can really make a man get another woman is that if maybe that woman is not truthful, that woman is not trustful, there's something that she's trying to hide from this marriage. There's something she's trying to hide from this man. Maybe she's got kids, she's hired kids outside with other men, and so she's trying to hide the identity of these kids from this man. He's gonna ask that man to get another woman just to hide these skeletons in the cupboard. Another thing is that a man or a woman who stands there confidently telling her man that he is entitled to get married to another woman, this woman might be having, maybe there's something that she's trying to confide. There's something, maybe this woman has been going through several issues. Maybe she came there as a second wife, so she's trying to also convince this man to get another woman so that the process can keep on going.
He feels allowing him to marry a second or more wives is going to keep him distracted, and that way he will not know or find out the things she's doing with herself. The third reason that can make a woman say something like this is a woman who is under pressure, kind of pressure that has to do with not being able to conceive a child. So a woman who is in that kind of situation will just have to allow her husband marry a second wife so that he can have children. Another reason that can make a woman say something like this is if their tradition permits it, or if the religion they are practicing permits it. So if your religion or your tradition permits your husband marrying more than one wife, then the woman cannot do anything about it, especially if your religion permits it. You are not happy with it, but you can't stop it from happening. So these are some of the reasons that can make women, or some women, come out to tell you that a man can marry as many wives as he wants. It's not because everything is okay. It's because something is wrong somewhere. Because any woman who really loves her husband with all her heart will not want to share her husband with another woman, will not want to share her husband's affection with another woman, will not want to share her husband's body with another woman, will not even want to share her husband's money with another woman, or even want to put her children in a situation where they grow up in a polygamous home, because we know what happens in polygamous home. So no woman in her right senses would wish or even want her husband to take a second wife or more wives. No woman at all would want that for herself and her children.
Before you marry a second wife, or before you agree to become a second wife, listen to my story. I come from a polygamy kind of family. My real mom is Luo, she's Nyager, and I have a second mom who is Gikuyu from Gilgil. Society viewed our stepmom as a person who came to break her. She was called Okuyu, but our mom came into our lives and, sincerely speaking, shocked everybody. She literally raised us. When most of us think about polygamy, we always think about war, we always think about hate. The first thing Dad did, Dad duplicated everything that he did for our stepmom, he did for our mom. If you look at our houses, they look the same, in the same compound. Because Dad wanted a good education for us, he made sure that we stay in Nairobi with our stepmom to get this good education. Our mom gave our stepmom the blessings to raise us. And anytime mom was to come to visit us, she could come to this house. That is something that is never seen in most polygamy families. I can assure you today, I know my real mom more than even my other brothers, because I became very close to my mom. I have never seen my mom telling me or teaching me how to hate our stepmom. And this is because she understood her purpose, she understood her place, and she never became a reason for the fall of our home. You will never know that mama amekasirika like, but when she's angry, you know those mwikos, she will take that mwiko na utapata kichapo kizuri sana. The way she will discipline me as Charles is the same way she will discipline Jeff, my brother. When you saw me looking so good in high school or in college, those people who know me, it is because of the efforts za mama. And I believe this is why our stepmom is blessed. Because, friends, when you treat another woman's child with dignity, with love, with honor that they deserve, God will never leave you. When you correct another woman's child with love, with no hate and with no bitterness, God will never leave you. Most of us suffer on earth because of the bitterness and anger that we hold towards another person's or another woman's child. Most of you who go into polygamy go without knowing that it is the responsibility of a man to shape the direction that he wants his family to go to. Polygamy is not easy, it's not a joke. Polygamy needs a man who is very wise. You are not bringing another person into your children's life to frustrate the other woman, but to build a home that is of respect and of love. And as a woman, before you decide to accept a man that has another family, be a woman that will understand that this man has another family in the first place. Do not be a person who just speaks, because there is a lot of power in a woman who understands when to speak and what to say and how to say it. So this is a special tribute to my mom, Esther, with whom I will forever love and cherish. And I also use this to congratulate my dad for being a very wise person, a person who spelled out specifically what he wanted his family to be like.
Here's another comment that I'm getting as well, yeah? Let me tell you guys something. Yes, men are allowed to have more than 4 wives, but there are also stipulations. It clearly states you can marry 2, 3, or 4, but if you can't do justice by any, you marry 1. So let me tell you something. Half of these men, yeah, they can't even take care of themselves. They can't even give their wife some money for some groceries, yeah? So what makes you think that you can afford 4 wives, honey? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, bro, know your limitations. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you decide to take 4 wives, and let me tell you right now, it's a big responsibility. If you decide to take 4 wives, if you don't do justice by them, the day of judgment, you will be raised crippled. All sorts of ways. You're going to be jacked up all the way. So I say this to say, yeah, they're allowed to have 4 wives, but that doesn't take away the fact that they still have to take care of the first one or the second.
Beautiful. There we go, guys. You just had it. What are some of the reasons that can make a man marry many wives? What are the reasons that can make a man get married to several wives? First of all, we've heard it that it depends with the religion. We all know that in Islam or in Islam religion, the men there are actually allowed to marry as many wives up to 4, provided he can provide to those women, take care of those women. He is allowed, he is permitted, he is obligated to get married to all those 4 women. Another thing that can make a man get married to many wives, for example, if a woman cannot conceive, she can't be able to sire children, she can't be able to get children of her own, she is going to tell the man to get another woman so that actually this guy can get kids. Another thing, or another reason that can make a woman tell a man to marry another woman is that you'll find that if this woman has not been truthful, she's trying to hide something, some skeletons in the cupboard. She doesn't want this man to unveil, or actually she doesn't want this man to know her dark past. She's going to tell this man to get another woman so that she can try to hide the past from this man. So those are some of the reasons that can make men get married to many wives. But actually we know that a woman with normal senses, who really loves her man, who really loves the man of the house, she can never stand there and just allow the man to get married to another woman. That is, in most cases it doesn't happen. But in the African culture, we know that men are supposed to marry. They are permitted to marry many wives. And so this actually depends with the man himself, whether he can decide to get 1 wife or he can decide to marry several wives. So guys, let me know your opinion in the comment section and catch me up next for another dating reaction. Bye bye.